Oh, okay. So you were telling me the places you were when you were in the service, I think, and you were in Morocco. Tell me, what was your favorite thing about Morocco?
Spanish Morocco, Spanish Morocco, uh, Riverside, California for a long time. And
What did you do? What was your
uh,
job in the Air
I hung
Force?
bombs on an airplane.
Wow. Okay.
And they had to have the things set in them. Hell, they'd drop them every once in a while. They clunk, clunk, and they'd call the people with the little cranes and come and hang them back. We had the first big jet uh, bombers. They were B-47s. And then they've had the B-52 ever since.
Yeah. Wow. I think Daddy kind of did the same thing, but he worked on the bombers.
And anyway,
I guess. Daddy worked on the bombers, I think, getting them.
And he was a crew member at one time, which was a dangerous bad job. They shot him down like getting out here with a shotgun shooting down pigeons, you know.
Wow.
Oh yeah, yeah. He worked on them too.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it was a bad time then. But he was a good man. Good man.
So what year did you get out of the Air Force?
1955.
Okay. So you were in from 51 to 55?
Mm-hmm.
Did you go in 1951 then?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. They were drafting you. You had to go somewhere. It drops you in the army.
So then when you came back, you didn't start working for the railroad right then, did you?
No, I spent 4 years in the Air Force.
No, but I mean when you got out of the Air Force in 1955, you came back to London?
Straight across out of Riverside, California. And my old uncle lived there in Indianapolis. I stopped and seen him, and like I said, we'd never mentioned working for the railroad. Didn't even mention the name. And he took me out there with a brother-in-law. And by the time I got all the physicals and everything over with, I was working for the railroad in 2 weeks.
That's a good job. But didn't you think he went to Florida at some point when you all were in Florida? Did you go visit Mother when she lived in Florida? Do you remember?
He went down there with us.
You went with them? Well, tell me about that story.
I think I did, didn't I?
Yeah, you were in Florida a little bit with us, and then you went on to Indianapolis, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And Menview, get me and your husband, Albert. And,
Daddy? Yeah.
Got along real good. I liked Albert. Albert was the type of fella, if he didn't like you, he wouldn't give you the time of day. If he'd like you, he'd do anything for you. That was him.
Yeah, that's probably true. Probably true. Well, you got out of the Air Force just in time for me to be born. The next year.
Yeah.
So were you still in, no, that was Florida. Then they moved to Alabama, though. Do you remember?
Yeah, we drove down there and visited you guys that time. And that was just for a few days, you know.
You talking about me?
When you lived in Birmingham.
Well, no, I was born in Montgomery. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, okay. Montgomery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, I don't remember it. So, anyway. Okay, so you've gone on a lot of vacations in your lifetime, played golf and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was in kind of what they called a bomb wing. We'd load up the whole thing. At that time, especially if it was in Morocco, that was built for a dumping place if you was going to Europe. We had the Cold War going then, real big. And then all at once, the big jet bomber come out, eliminated all of them. They'd fly it from the air, see, refuel in the air.
Oh, yeah.
You need them no more. They spent millions and millions and billions of dollars building them big places, paying them foreign countries millions of dollars. And what all it's done since then, I don't know, Teresa.
Okay. So when did you start playing golf?
I love to golf, and golf was good for me. And when I was working, I had all of these friends, and they, between the ground crews and the engine crews, they call it, we were odd numbers. So about every time I got a run, I worked with a different crew, you know.
So we're talking about the train.
The ones I was really close with and liked was the ones I played golf with. I felt real close to them. Yeah.
Is that who you used to go to Florida and play golf with your buddies, didn't you? Is that who y'all would meet?
We used to go a couple of weeks a year.
With those people, your train people, is that who would go play?
Yeah. And like I've said many times before, I've had a good life.
Oh, yeah.
The only big mistakes was ever made was me. Some of them I'd like to change, and some of them I wouldn't.
Well, tell me about meeting your wife.
Okay, she helped right over there. And we went to school together. She's about 1 or 2 years behind me. And she was always a pretty girl.
Was that where when Tom worked there at Douglas?
Huh?
Yeah, I thought Tom kind of hooked you all up.
Yeah, that's where you met her.
Tom was working at Begley's, and she was working at
Carmen's
Begley's. I always thought Tom was the one that...
Yeah.
She helped with.
And we messed around for about 7 years. Finally got married. Should have got married before. And had a good life until she got sick.
And she moved to Indianapolis with you, and you continued working.
Oh, yeah. And she liked it. She liked Indianapolis. I'd say she liked Indianapolis better than I did.
Yeah.
And then she got sick one whole year, passed away, and that same year we was both able to go on pension together. And on the railroad, she would have got half of what I got.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't work out. And I did what the book supposed to say. Hung around for a couple of years up there in Indianapolis. And decided it's time to go. You remember the big move?
I remember the big move.
And
I'll never forget that.
came back here in
Leaning,
97, 98.
son Ted.
And it was the right move for me.
Yeah.
I lived in a big city with no relations.
Yeah, well, we were happy when you came back.
And it was absolutely the right move. The right move. And been here ever since. and had a bit of problem.
Living on Fugit Drive.
And it'd been awful if I'd have got real sick like I was up there in the big city. Up there in the big city. But when I worked there, I had a good job, good company to work for, and I did okay. But I wouldn't want to do it again, and I don't miss it. But it was a good job, a good place to work.
Now, how many years were you engineer on the train? You didn't
Well,
start out as an engineer, I know.
I had the big, good money-making for about 15 years. The rest of them were just, you might work a lot, but they weren't as good a jobs as those fast runs were just up from Indianapolis, St. Louis.
Oh, and what was the name of your train?
It was a mixed train, Teresa. You had a number on the wall, and it'd work around. When it get up to your name, whatever train was going, that's the one you got on. But now that OLN bought them out just a little while after I retired, and they got some better runs and stuff than we had.
And how many years did you work for the railroad?
40.
40 years.
And I hung around in Indianapolis for 42.
Wasn't it Conrail? Conrail.
Conrail, that was the name of it.
And we lived comfortable. Everything worked out pretty good except once you got sick. And that was that. But
Were you with them then, Ted? When she got sick?
Was I